Look, Arpeggio Blue Steel, I didn't think it would come to this. I didn't set out to do this. You know that. I was downright enjoying your first two episodes. We were off to a super strong start. I was totally on board. I didn't want this to happen. I still don't. I think we can maybe still mend up, but it's gonna be tough after this. Episode 3, The Fortress Port of Yokosuka. I have 6,000 words worth of notes about this episode, not counting the intro I'm writing off the cuff afterwards, by the way. And we're going to get through all of it today, no matter how long it takes. Hopefully, I can elaborate on some of the reasons why this is a turning point and why my tune changes drastically. Let's get right into it, and we'll see. So, we open on Iona approaching an absolutely enormous defense barrier. This thing must be at least as large as the walls in Attack on Titan, which by the way were truly enormous. Our heroes have arrived at Yokosuka, and apparently I've been saying it wrong. It's Yokosuka. I'm probably going to be saying it the other way. They come in, and the crew marvels at this gigantic edifice. I have to admit, it's impressive. However, I hate to do this, but since it's right at the start of the episode, we really have no choice. If I praise the show when it's smart, then I simply must do the opposite when it does the opposite. I wonder how effective it will actually be against the fleet of fog. I don't. If that's truly just a very large, very sturdy wall, then I don't have a single shred of doubt about its precise level of usefulness. It's 0. Unless the wall has a fucking AT field generator, it's gonna do precisely jack shit against the unbeatable waterbound spaceships out there. You can probably already tell I'm gonna be making a big deal about this, and yes, I am! This wall is one of the stupidest things I've seen in any anime, and please let that statement sink in. I don't like to use hyperbole like this, but I simply can't believe that anyone would believe in this wall. As in, I flatly do not believe that the absurd resources, manpower, and effort required to build this thing actually happened. I don't believe any of the construction workers, politicians, or designers ever, at any point, really thought this would work, even for one single second. It won't work. It can't work. The enemy has fucking lasers and missiles, and as we saw in the final battle in episode 1, they have no problem just fucking ramming you Reaper style when they can't be arsed. The actual, real-life US Navy could get through that wall in like 5 fucking seconds. Assuming, of course, we just don't send drones, fighters, and missiles lobbing over it, because it's a wall. One of our missile destroyers would blow this thing apart before it ran out of ammo. Really. There's a reason we stopped doing the castle thing in modern times. This might seem like I'm having a total freak out over a minor detail, so I really want to break this down and explore. When I say I liked X, or X was good, I can often leave it at that, and it feels more okay than, say, X is dumb. For the latter statement, I feel compelled to explain my reasoning, so hey, that's why Into the Storm's rumination wasn't all that long, but this one is guaranteed to run long. In Attack on Titan, humanity has a huge fuck-off wall as the only reason we're still alive. Outside of the wall is enemy territory, claimed by a horrifying enemy we cannot truly defeat. For 100 years, the walls have kept us alive. Confined and complacent, yeah, but alive. Comparisons between that and this are probably inevitable, but I'd argue it's a fundamentally different thing. See, as I said in the last episode, the Titans are basically huge zombies. They have no intelligence or technology of any kind that we can determine. They don't work together, and they don't launch cruise missiles. So a wall, provided it was stupidly huge and thick like the walls actually are, that works great. It's effective. Until the unforeseen happens one day, this solution actually worked. The Titans couldn't get through. This wall can't work. I mean, it literally can't. This is known. By this point, everybody on Earth knows the unbeatable power of the Fleet of Fog. It's known. Basically, the only thing we do know about this mysterious force of battleships, aside from that a lot of them are super thirsty and styled after World War II ships, is that they're unbeatable. Their technology, their power is simply above our capacity to resist. They win, and we lose. Everyone knows this, so everyone knows it can't work. So why the fuck was it built? This doesn't just bother me, it actually offends me, believe it or not. On an intellectual level, it offends my brain more than my heart. It offends me in precisely the same way that Del Rio, having ever been captain of the UNSC Infinity, offended me. What happened to him in the end, it was definitely a huge help in mending the hurt, but it's not totally gone. It can't make up for the fact that it happened, in my opinion. In fact, I can stretch this metaphor even more. Wanna watch me try? Okay, so, Infinity is stupidly, and I mean stupid as in bad writing stupidly, huge and powerful and strong. This thing was, I'm led to understand, already being built while humanity was in the final stages of the war with the Covenant. As in, being wiped out, driven back, losing all the colonies, losing all the fleets, having the entire military blown apart and being pushed to the brink of annihilation. And yet we had the resources to build this huge thing. And when it's done, we give command of it, the most critical posting humanity has ever known, to an absolute, obvious, gibbering, insane idiot who couldn't pass basic in any real branch of any military anywhere. See where my point starts to loop around? Japan is devastated. We're low on resources, and yet we devote God only knows how much stuff and people of our dwindling supply to this. If we'd built a Minecraft-style 40-foot-high golden cock and balls, it wouldn't be as worthless as this project, because at least then we've added to a certain warped definition of art and culture, and it wouldn't, actively fail us. Alright, there's only two options as far as I see it. Either the creators simply didn't think about any of this, or they expect us not to. That's not acceptable. Or, this is a deliberate move, meant to show that humans suck, humans are dumb, that the government is dumb, or some other thing, some other point they want to prove. And that's not acceptable to me either. Okay. I think I've made my point, and then I beat it into the ground, and then I hit it with a rocket, and then I wandered into some tangents. Okay. How far in are we? Oh god, less than 90 seconds. Okay, I promise there won't be any more similar Actually, I can't promise that. Actually, I can promise, since I've read the script ahead, that there will be more. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll try to keep it moving. Let's go. So, Iona takes them into the armored harbor, and I have to admit, this place looks really cool. It continues Arpeggio's consistent status as a treat for the eyes, and despite little talking in the intro, we get to really... Are you really pointing your guns at the fucking submarine? Oh god! Oh god, that's so fucking stupid! Now I guarantee this is a detail we're meant to both gloss over and take as a sign of how the military and the government operates and how they feel about our brave heroes. But it's also a perfect harbinger of the stupidity to come. The precise issue that made me leave the show half finished. Just know, this image has more significance than I can explain right now, in addition to just being dumb. You'll see. You'll all see. Anyhow, we sail into the protected anchorage, and the opening plays us in. Yes, this was all just before the opening. And because of the tone this rumination has taken on, I will again hit on how much I love the OP. It just works for me. It was part of the reason I came into the show the first time with a really positive impression, at least to start. Alright, I got a drink of water. I had to. I absolutely had to. It's been 10 minutes, and it's like the opening now, and it's like, oh, hopefully my voice sounds a little better. I could feel, I didn't quite have it, but I'm not going back to re-record that. This is gonna be a marathon for me, because I'm kind of new at this anyhow. If we don't get through this, we're never going to get through it, if you know what I mean, so let's just get to it. Okay, so we return from the opening to, oh, fuck's sake. So here we have the port closing the big gates and stuff to secure Iona. And if you'll notice those things to either side, those are soldiers. Still pointing their fucking guns at Iona. So it's not me freaking out over one little thing. The story emphasizes this. They're being treated like criminals and enemies. One step from open hostilities. Arpeggio makes a specific point of that. In fact, that's actually the plot of this episode. So you'll forgive me if I continue to indulge myself and point out how fucking stupid that is. Actually, there's so much of this episode left to go. Let's try and space out and decompress this a little. Plus, if you don't have this issue, the rest of the opening is fine. We get a really cool sequence of the dock draining out the water and then lowering Iona into a huge elevator thing into an underground hidden shipyard. It's full of the remnants of Japan's fleet, placed in seclusion for, say, the day we develop a way to strike back. This place really is impressive, both for the characters and for us. The idea here is clearly to give us a bit of a breather after last episode's total focus on action. But remember how I said Into the Storm also avoided the series' pitfalls by its laser focus? Yeah. Well, we'll see some of that. I really do enjoy this whole sequence, despite the fact that they keep showing these fucking moron soldiers. What? Do you think the crew's been killed and replaced by Cylons? What are you hoping to achieve? On the level of strategy and tactics, the Blue Steel Fleet is literally, and I'm not using that word lightly, I actually mean it this time, literally the only hope for the human race. They are an invaluable war asset. For the duration of the struggle against the fog, they are the Japanese Navy, whatever they claim. Oh god, it really is just teenagers saving the world again, isn't it? Somehow that comes into sharper focus as we see the crew start maintenance work, check Iona over for damage, and interact with the dock workers and quartermasters, who are all like, grown-ass adults and professionals. By the way, partial apologies are due to So, the mask dude. He says he wears that thing due to allergies. So hey, he's got a reason for it. That really does make it more tolerable for me. The design is still kinda stupid, but hey. On the totally practical level too, your guns won't do anything. They're under Iona's protection. Even if you get them away from her, and imprison or kill them, you'll have an invincible fog ship rampaging around your most critical harbor, and a city full of people. Before we go any further on the big bad government point, since oh boy is there more of that in this episode, I also want to say that yeah, I know it's deliberate. I know it's almost certainly a thrust of the story itself. Ideas like humanity sucks, our heroes being of neither man nor machine anymore and cast out from both, government sucks, humanity sucks, a commentary on Imperial Japan and the past. I'm certain there's some thought put into it, unlike the seawall, which is the concrete manifestation of silliness. In fact, the impression overall this episode gives is that of impotent displays. Humanity feels powerless in our current situation. We can't in any way strike back at our real oppressors. So we try to take it out, even in such a small and pathetic way, on the ones we can reach. They certainly make this huge, retarded, chest-thumping display every time Iona and the crew come to town, right? And that's really all it is. A display. Just like that huge wall outside. We can't build ships to fight, or actually defeat them, so we build a huge wall, and delude ourselves into thinking there's any chance it can work. I really get where the show's going with this, honestly I do. When you think about it in such terms and try and put it together, yeah, it makes it a little less enraging. When humans behave like humans, it always scores some level of points with me, really. It's one of those things I always look for. But the fact remains, I don't care for the execution of these ideas, or even some of the ideas themselves. This is a deeply personal thing, but I've already wasted enough of my young life. I don't have a single second to spare entertaining misanthropy of any kind. Okay, I think we can finally move on, hopefully. Please, Arpeggio, please. I want to go back to our happy days when we were firing black holes and cutting wrestling promos. It was a simpler, more innocent time. By the way, music's pretty good through the intro scene. Sound design is a huge part of movies and TV shows, and while it's not exactly hyper-inspired John Williams stuff, it works fine, it works great. Ah, damn it. Looks like we broke the wave motion gun during the fight. Engineer Girl says they won't get that finishing move back until they hit Iwoto and resupply on nano machines, son. So that's that. At least they can refill on conventional ordnance, the stuff that Takao literally didn't even notice. Somehow I'm more calm, but things still kinda suck. Anyhow, time to go ashore. Submarine crews were often stuck in even longer cruises and deployments than normal navies, especially during wars, so this is really a treat. Gunzo leaves So in command, while he and Iona go off to meet with the G-Man. As they look over the harbor city, our two leads have a conversation, and as expected, it's a big upgrade from, the earlier stuff. Iona notices that the city's got more hustle and bustle to it now than it used to, and, Look, I'm not one to shy from negativity, or think it's inherently bad or wrong. Far from it. I really do want to let it go. But you can't. Because they can't. Gunzo figures the people who evacuated inland started to come back because the wall was finished and they felt more safe. Iona points out that it isn't logical, since even if you like seafront property more, well, dude, you just added another hazard table alongside hurricanes and global warming, glowing alien battleships. But hey, people aren't logical. They like the sea, they want to live near it. It's not a major thing. So Gunzo says they're going on a little side trip, and takes her here, a cemetery. Before they could really do much of anything, a kid runs up, pursued closely by the child's natural enemy, maids. They quickly snag her and drag her off, to her loud Ojo-sama protests, and Iona takes a passing interest in her. She says the girl lives alone, in a mansion at that young age. Plus all the maids, I guess. Even so, that's weird, huh? I'm sure she won't turn out to be incredibly important to the plot, though. Anyhow, we cut back for a moment to see the party members working on... Fuck! Why? Why? Look, look. Okay, I was gonna move on. I was gonna stop. I want to get swept away by you, Arpeggio. I'm that kind of consumer. I want to enjoy the experience. I want to let my troubled mind slip into a new realm, but you can't keep doing this shit. It's like somebody going up to you in a movie theater and slapping you in the face every few minutes at total random. Yeah, he's not actually injuring you, and yeah, the movie that's playing could be really good. Good luck enjoying that experience at all. And why the fuck are they wearing gas masks? And yeah, I know the answer to that too. It's cheaper and easier not to give the soldiers faces, and it makes it a ton easier to dehumanize them. Really, guys? Sniper rifles? One thing to note, though, is that Iona's right there. This establishes pretty clearly that it's not like Edie in Mass Effect, where she's in the body and she's also in the ship. Apparently when she's out, she's really out. Otherwise she clearly would have intervened. That or the writers forgot. Given the tone of this rumination already, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. So, everyone's invited to dinner. Oh goody. Also, they make it a point to say that these dudes aren't Navy Marines, but Army guys. As a historical note that I'm certain was deliberate, the IJA was seen as way more bastardy than the IJN in World War II. Nanking. Look it up if you want. You won't like what you find. So again, yes, it's on purpose. Yes, I see what they were going for. Yes, I'm still mad. Actually, rewatching the scene again, I can see the army guys actually pushing down the black-suited soldiers I was raging at earlier. This tells me either the army is so fucking stupid they're roughing up these guys for being in the vicinity of their thing, or that, at some point, the G-Man figured this was going to happen and told the Marines to make a big dick-waving show, but also protect them from the army if possible. Would have loved to see that scene. Even as a shady, shifty, big, bad government douchebag, I can see that these army guys are even more dumberer. They're so jelly about being rendered 1,000% irrelevant in this war that they'll stoop to anything, even sabotaging humanity's only shot at victory just for crazy cuz. I better get some guys on that. The anger has turned to tears, so let's keep moving to an actually good scene. I was rather expecting this earlier, but no, we have it now. Iona and Gunzo talking about human nature and stuff. And as I said in episode 1, it's a highlight of the episode. Sure as hell a highlight of this episode. Gunzo explains to Iona that they're standing in front of a monument built to honor those who died in the war against the fog. Probably one of many across the whole world. We see exactly how far along the robot girl discovers human emotions tracker Iona is, as she's honestly perplexed by this concept. The idea of honoring the dead, setting their souls to rest, and all that confuses her. It's not logical. But people aren't logical. Iona says this place is meaningless, but we give meaning to these places, as Gunzo says in a very wonderful moment. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting to read the freaking Gettysburg Address on the— No! No! God damn it! This is the physical representation of stupidity, barging in to try and ruin a great scene. Look at it! I can't fuck... Okay. 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 I'm only gonna say precisely 2 things about it, and then we'll move on. Swear. Point the first, this scene actually made me have a lot more respect for both Arpeggio's view on humanity and Gunzo's character in an impressive 2 birds with 1 stone thing. Hell, he's downright badass as he tells Iona not to vaporize these morons. Which leads to point the second. A single intern going up to the crew and offering them a full course, super awesome, lavish dinner at government expense would have... Actually, I was about to say would have literally the same effect as this, but that's not true. It would have the same positive effect, getting them all to dinner with you, but it will also avoid the Diplo penalty you took from abducting them at gunpoint! This is the direct equivalent to Gunzo's unnecessary action scene in Those with Shipping Routes. Does everyone in this world just jump to the most absurdly extreme solution to their problem that causes just as many problems as the problem they were trying to fix? If you wrote a story about someone who did that, who always jumped to the most extreme solution to every single one of their problems, that could actually be uproariously funny and even clever. You could build a great plot if you just always, if they always did that. The thing is, it has to be a thing, and it has to be the thing. If you only do it a few times, though, you just kind of look really dumb. Don't make me reference Ride to Hell Retribution with the fence. Don't ever make me reference Ride to Hell again, Arpeggio. You will. So let's go then. By the way, halfway point of the episode, as in we're halfway through it. Probably more than halfway through the rumination, maybe. I don't know. God, I hope so. All we can do is move forward. Gunzo and Iona are taken to a super nice restaurant, pleasant music playing in the background, you know, the whole deal. In fact, we see the crew are downright relaxed, enjoying the fine food and whatnot. So clearly they don't feel really threatened anymore. Kinda reinforces my point from before. So you're probably wondering who brought them here. Wonder no more, my friends. Meet the dumbest motherfucker in this show. Naturally, he's a former admiral, and he's in the national diet. Fuck's sake. He's Arpeggio's closest equivalent to Darth Malik, if you get my drift. And if you don't, you'll see. In fact, I hate this guy so much, I will deliberately refuse to use his actual name. He's Darth Malik now. That's just how it is. Actually, given that he's cribbing tactics wholesale from Darth fucking Vader, by the way, might want to work on that PR, Mr. Politician. That metaphor is more apt than I even realized. God. So, why did he go through all this trouble and put me through this cycle of agony? He wants them to turn Iona back over to the government. Yes, really. Oh, don't worry, it's even dumber than it sounds when he gives his reasoning for it. By the way, throughout this encounter, the way it's shot, the soundtrack, it's all treating Malik like he's some big, serious guy with a lot of big, serious power. But it is simply impossible for me to take this guy seriously. He's so dumb. Remember what I said earlier about the Army and the Navy? Kamikaze must have said to himself, that Malik guy is probably going to try and fuck everything up for his stupid plan. I'd better get some guys on that. So he continues to blow us away with his intellect as he explains to the crew why he wants Iona. She's dangerous, you see. Her very existence is inherently dangerous, and it's only a matter of time until she gets out of hand. Citation needed, fuckface. He draws near the vague area of having a point when he says that maybe Iona should be handled by trained soldiers and experts rather than Japanese teenagers. I mean, like, in real life, he'd have some kind of point. Since it's fiction, we know he's wrong, and the teens will be far more useful, intelligent, and effective than the trained experts, but it's something. This guy desperately needs any bones you can throw him. And yep, they're doing the he's not treating Iona like a person at all thing, so we will dislike him. It works. I guess what kills the writer in me about this fucknut is that Darth Malik is a failure. Whether he's trying to be presented as though he has some legit points, in which case his transparent cartoon villainy makes it impossible to side with him, or the more likely explanation as the big important villain guy. He also fails at that, because he is precisely no threat to our heroes. Supership, remember? This undercuts the menace, since he's really powerless, not gonna lie. Not only that, but he is so stupid that, even were the previous point not true, he shoots himself in the foot, some villain. He even admits he's impressed by the progress the Blue Steel Fleet is having against the Fog, which kinda undercuts his whole leave this to the pros argument. Oh, one good thing this episode does is give us more characterization and good moments with the crew members. Man, it's like Arpeggio's simply trying to make me eat my own words about everything. I wonder if I could turn that to my advantage. Anyhow, as you might well expect, his proposal isn't very attractive. Gunzo tells him to shit off in the most polite manner possible. In the process, he also kinda shits on the Navy for achieving nothing against the Fog in the 7 years since the final stand. Way to honor those heroic dead there, but hey, if it insults Malik, it's all to the good. Actually, this whole dinner scene is basically a battle of wits. So as you can imagine, Gunzo absolutely wipes the floor with this fuckpipe, and in very short order he has no recourse at all beyond calling in his soldiers, so they can be witty for him. You can't possibly think this will work. Even if Iona can't stop you, and she can, since fog ships can do anything, her vengeance will level your fucking seaport. Based on the events of those with shipping routes, I could buy that you could defeat Iona with conventional weapons. You'd have to work at it, but it's possible to hurt her. Yeah, you could probably destroy her, but not without sustaining losses and damage of your own. Probably a lot, as she lashes out at your retarded ass and anything around her she can reach. Oh, and that doesn't even touch on the fact that you will be destroying the most critical war asset in the world. A literally priceless, literally irreplaceable ship that constitutes humanity's only hope for victory. Moron. Meanwhile, on the mental farm, Maya and Congo are chilling out. It's an entirely welcome break from the episode. You know, I thought I'd have yet another thing to go off in a huge long rant based on my memories of the episode, but rewatching this scene, things aren't as bad as I thought, so that probably won't be necessary. Also, the conversation is a welcome break from the episode's normal theme, which, well, you've heard me talk about it. So these two fog ships are discussing stuff. Congo reveals she already has a plan in place to deal with Iona. She's sent 2 ships to sink her. I guess if one didn't do the job, just try double the force, right? However, more interestingly for the audience, we also get some glimpses and details on the fog itself. Basically, the reason the fog developed mental models, which is a recent development in the past couple of years, was for the purposes of tactics. Tactics require thought, like the kind of thought a living being does. All living things must struggle, in some way or another, based on their limitations. But fog ships have effectively no limits, no predators, no challenges even. They just bulldoze all opposition with unbeatable technology, invincible shields, and unstoppable weapons. Thus they were, in that sense, victims of their own success. They never needed to change, grow, or think, so they never did, until the mental models. As Congo explains, the limitations of a body force that sort of mental development and thinking, and with thought came the ego, and thus how they've become, for all intents and purposes, actual people. Also, as an aside, Congo talking about her body is absurdly hot. No, really. Where were we? Oh, right. So, Congo says they learn tactics and thinking and whatnot, but there's clearly nothing more to be gained from humans or from absorbing Iona. Yeah, the first defeats you've ever suffered were definitely because you learned too much. Please go back to not learning anymore. We'll be helpless before you. Really, they're afraid of what Iona represents, as much as Darth Malik is, an example of parallelisms and both sides done correctly. And that's something considering I really don't like both sides' narratives sometimes. But it's done well. Quote, "We don't want to end up like Takao." Oh, speak of the devil. That's Takao, emerging from a bookstore. Yes, really. She's got a book about having a captain, because that's her thing now. No, really, it's her thing. A lot. The idea of having Gunzo telling her exactly what to do in every sense excites her. You okay there, Takao? Sheesh. First Congo and now this. Am I gonna need to break out the Barry White music? You know I will. Yeah, she wants to become a better weapon, and she thinks Gunzo can make her more effective if he's commanding her. Hence, she's gonna go seek him out. And she even tells this directly to a pair of Iona's super creepy sisters in the submarine fleet when they come calling. Interesting note, when she goes AWOL, and then flat out states her intention to defect to the Blue Steel Fleet, nothing is done about it. They're content to let her go. Also, something that amuses me to no end is that, she's right there. Like, her ship is right there, in the middle of a town. Sure, it's nighttime. I doubt anybody will miss that. She glows. I don't know, it's not like it's a problem or anything. She's not hurting anybody. In fact, I'm pretty sure she even paid for that book rather than stealing it. It's not like we could get rid of her even if we wanted to. It's just interesting. I got a kick out of it. Maybe that's ultimately the road to peace. Showing them that we have stuff they want to buy. Hey, that's how it goes in real life. So, back to the dinner party of stupid. Oh hey, something's actually happening. Oh hey, it's Kongo's plan. A pair of fast battleships. Kirishima and Haruna. Oh hey, the seawall totally stopped them attacking for like 10 seconds easily. Worth every yen. So anyhow, Gunzo's taken charge of the situation. He and the crew immediately realize what's happening out there. Another bomb storm. I hear those are deadly on the Japanese coast around this time of year. So it's time to get out there and show those fog ships who's boss. Gunzo tells Iona to override the docking control, which she does without effort. So I guess she really can just like do that to human computer systems. No wonder Adama was so adamant about networks. Are they wearing gas masks in that fucking control room? Oh. No. I actually have a lot to say about that, but not here. There's already been too much of that. There'll be a time for it, I guarantee, because, well, I'm not going to say too much right now, but just trust me. We will return to this point, Arpeggio. Where were we? Oh, right. The music in this scene is also good, and the excitement and energy level is clearly back on the rise. Yes, I'm gonna see ship battles and ship girls and stuff again. Fuck my life. Actually, scratch that. Fuck these guys' lives. I wish they didn't have them. And as it turns out, Iona can make my wish come true. Go ahead, punks. Make my day. You know, I go on about the humanistic perspective a bunch, but this particular bunch of humans, well, let's just put it this way. Until this moment, you could argue it was all just a show of force, just a display, basically a bluff. They were bluffing. They aren't actually so stupid as to try and shoot the only hope for humanity in the face. But look at this image. Look at their fingers. What's the first rule of guns always? Never point your gun at anything you're not prepared to see shot. Ever. Most especially not with your finger on the fucking trigger, which means they were in fact going to shoot. Oh, I'm gonna reference another legendary work, Sonic 06, where the guards try and stop you and make you pass trials and stuff before you can go on, even though you're trying to save their princess from the evil Dr. Eggman. It's like everyone in that town is on the take from Dr. Eggman. I think everyone in this town is on the take, too. But wait, it's actually more dumb than even that. Mallet gets a dude giving him the W whisper in his ear about what's going on, and he says, "This is an attack by the fleet of fog." And then he still tries to stop them. This shit isn't acceptable. He's the bad guy. He's wrong. Fine. But this isn't even a personal issue anymore. This guy is so fucking stupid. It's warping the entire plot of the episode like a black hole. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, look. You can try and make Malik look deep and wide and prophetic as he's talking about how the power of the fog will determine the fate of the world. But I've already seen through him, so it's just not on. He is right. Our fate will be determined by the Titans. Which is why you should probably let them go and stop the rampaging fucking battleship. Gunzo gets some nice words about like stuff, and then we're finally off. I'm sorry, but we gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing that we do, Okay, I can't actually gloss over it like that. This is a really cool character moment for both Iona and Gunzo, and I really liked it. Even in the midst of all my mad, I'm happy to admit that. Okay, let's go. Actually, when Iona identifies their attackers, the whole crew promptly freaks out. Remember, Takao the heavy cruiser gave them an entire episode's worth of trouble, and now there's two proper capital ships out there, spoiling for a fight. Won't be easy, especially without the Omega Mega Cannon, but that's also a reminder that they've taken on and taken down a Fog battleship in the past. Our heroes are primed for battle, and the next episode promises to be another action-focused one, which after this one is a very good sign. With that, the ED finally arrives. Even writing and screenshotting for this one felt like it took for fucking ever. I have no clue how long this is gonna turn out. I'm not gonna cut most of it though, cause goddamn, I'm not gonna lie, this episode was a pain in the neck to sit through. We have a sprinkling of good things on top of a consistently awesome aesthetic and animation, a glimpse of Takao being fabulous, good character stuff, and not just for our leads but for the crew too, which I thought was a nice treat. But as I hopefully conveyed above, it's interrupted constantly by a cavalcade of pure fucking stupid. The villain of this episode, Darth Malik, would honestly be more intimidating and menacing if he got a gun from one of his soldiers and shot himself in the foot with it. Literally. People who can't handle guns having weapons from this fires is dangerous, yo. Somebody could get hurt. Even though I'm gonna have some issues in the next episode too, I swear it'll be better than this. At the very least, we'll have some of that awesome action that drew me in the first time. If you don't have the issues with this that I do, this is a watchable slice of TV, but I absolutely can't recommend it. If you've ever seen an actual villain in media, or you like humanity, might not be your cup of tea. Honestly, aside from the character moments, I almost think you could just skip this and go right from 2 to 4, if you didn't mind the non-stop press of action without a breather. I'd appreciate comments on how I'm doing so far, if I went too far, if I'm totally off the mark, if you agree, whatever. Next time on Arpeggio of Blue Steel, red shirts, human nature, sunken cities, and ship battles. See you then.